Alright there guys, this is Cobb and welcome to another Sunday's Q&A. This is going to be one of those times when there's really nothing to talk about with regards to updates, so this full video is just going to be answering some questions from you guys, some really good questions that did get me thinking, so without further delay, let's just get straight into them. Matt Nicholas says, I want to get back into WoW, but to try and not get addicted again. Any help? Cheers man, keep up the great work. Back in the days of TBC and Wrath of the Lich King, I was addicted like crazy. I would rush home after school and college to play. As soon as I got home, I'd play a Bone Shock video or a Drake Dog video to get me in the zone, and I'd just play BGs and look for some wild PvP. And if no one stopped me, or I didn't have coursework to do or something like that, I could easily play all day and all night quite easily. For me though, times have changed. The game has changed. Ever since Cataclysm hit, and now Mr. Pandaria, WoW has just lost its mojo a little bit. It is still an awesome game, of course. I wouldn't still be playing it 3 years after Wrath if it wasn't still an awesome game, but it is no longer addicting like it used to be. Maybe it's because I've been playing for so long that the game just no longer draws me in like it used to, and that is definitely a possibility. But the first thing I would say is don't expect the game to have you completely hooked. Take into account how long you've been playing. You said that you wanted to get back into WoW, so when did you quit and for how long had you been playing? If you played Vanilla and TBC, then quit during Wrath, you're going to come back and find that the game is extremely different now, and it might not even pull you in anywhere near as much as it did when you last played. Now as for steps to avoid getting addicted, I am the farthest thing from a professional. I don't really feel like I know enough to give any advice past what I have experienced, and the main thing you're going to need is some mental discipline. It sounds way more simple than it is, of course. I find the best thing to do is to fixate on something other than the game, and I didn't do it so well, to be honest. The reason being that I basically started fixating on another game, which was the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, so I kind of failed and just became hooked to a different game for a while. But I'm sure that you get the idea, you know, just recognize that you're spending way too much time in the BGs and focus your energy on something else that you like. For me, that could have been writing, if I'd known back then that I enjoyed it so much. But that is kind of all I've got to say on that. I don't have much experience with overcoming addictions. I have a very addictive personality myself, and more often than not I do just end up succumbing to my own addictions. Gendron Haxman Eves asks, what are your thoughts on the new Forsaken character models? And I think they look epic, and they basically look like Voldemort on steroids, and I think that it's awesome. As much as I like the current Undead style, I did feel like we were made of toilet paper and glue sometimes. It's a very, very scrawny race, and while we're keeping that same style in Worlds of Draenor, we are also being beefed up a little bit, which I definitely appreciate. Dave Zengapoli asks, did you ever go to university and graduate? If yes, what did you major in? I never did go to university, but it was never planned or anything all the way through school, and basically my entire life there was just no plan. I just went after the things that I like to do. I like writing and reading mostly, so that's what I did in college. Normally in the UK you start college when you are 16 and you finish when you are 18, staying on for 2 years before going to university, but I had to spend my first year resetting exams that I screwed up in school, so I ended up being at college for 3 years. I did English literature, English language and psychology. These were all really good subjects for me. I was basically getting really good grades in all of the first years. It was during my last year of college though that things started going downhill. I'd reached a point where I was just tired of education, I think. I just wanted to get out into the world and start teaching myself things that I wanted to learn and get a job and just really start living. My attendance was very bad during my last year. For the most part my grades also went south, but I did manage to completely pretend that I knew what I was talking about in the literature exam. I actually had no background knowledge at all for the essay question, but I was able to use some big words and fake my way to a pass, so hey. But all things said and done, I just got tired of being taught, and the prospect of going to university for another few years of education was just something that I couldn't handle. Part of me sort of does regret not going to university, but I never really look back from where I am today. Roy Muleblock asks, do you want kids later on? And what if you had a kid by accident? If Sophie managed to get pregnant, I do not even know what I would do. I think my immediate response would just be panic and fear. I'd think about, you know, where we're currently living. How expensive are babies these days? Do we have enough money coming in? I hate kids. Am I even ready on an emotional level to be a dad? All of these things and more. I think would just cross my mind all at once, and I'd basically be shitting myself. I definitely wouldn't leave or anything though. A baby demands that you man up at the end of the day, whether you're ready or not. You're going to be a dad. Being there for a kid is about as automatic as falling in love. You don't have a choice when it comes down to it. You just got to do your best. Do we want kids later on? I'd say I'm 80% sure that we do. We have talked about it, and maybe even discuss some names here and there, but we both agree that we first get a cat, then we get a dog, so you know, we're working our way up slowly, baby steps, and then we'll see. The most important thing to me though, my own personal and emotional fears aside, is that we are making enough money and that we are living in a big enough place. Stability is the absolute main thing that comes to mind for me. Lee Smith, aka my good friend Mac, asks, with the new expansion coming up, what are your views on its strengths, and do you have any worries? Are there any worries you have for the upcoming expansion, and if so, why do you worry and how do you see it affecting you as a player and your career? GG Tiverman. My main and only worry for the new expansion is, what will the PvP balance be like? And that's pretty much all I worry about when it comes to new expansions. I think we can all agree that Blizzard tends to slack quite a bit when it comes to PvP. I'm sure we all remember the start of Mists of Pandaria with BM Hunters one-shotting people with Stampede, and the insanely imbalanced warrior mechanic called Taste for Blood. I don't want to give the wrong impression though. I'm not worried about Destruction Spec being nerfed into the dead or anything. Even if it is, I will still be playing it like I always do. I'm more just worried about 2 or 3 classes being insanely powerful, like melees for example. Host casters and healers are losing a lot of instant casts though. Unless I've missed something, melees appear to have not lost any interrupts or gap closes, so I am a little bit worried there. But yeah, the new PvP zone, the new BG rewards, skirmishes coming back, and the changes to baseline resilience are all awesome. Those are all things that I'm really excited for. I just hope that they don't find a way to mess it up. I get the sense that they have grown kind of notorious for doing just that. Matthews Christiansen asks, what is your plans for the rest of your life? When will you stop doing YouTube, and what will you do after that? I don't have a clue. I'll always be around on YouTube. YouTubing has just become one of those things that is as much a part of my life as gaming itself. I love, you know, recording epic or funny clips while gaming. I'm being able to share them here and see your guys' comments, so some things just won't be changing anytime soon. If I had to do something other than YouTube though, for whatever reason, no idea. I'd stick as much as I could to my rule of, you know, just do what you enjoy. But I'd probably go after something in writing. You know, I'd maybe contact news websites or my local newspaper and look to get some experience under my belt or something. Or maybe I'd try and be a crazy novelist. I don't know, but if I had to, I'd just work any job I could. Any job is better than no job, as long as I have time to do the things that I love to do. But yeah, there's definitely no set plan. I do what I do on YouTube for as long as possible. Write the novels I have planned, get a cat, get a dog, marry Sophie, probably have kids and live happily ever after. Whatever comes in between, you know, I've handled somewhere under them. Alex Sparks, what a fucking awesome name that is, I've just got to say. Do you have any advice on better ways to teach people new to the spec and class? When it comes to learning about a new spec or class, for me, nothing beats duels. If you duel as many different classes as you can until you learn to beat them, you'll find that you can learn all kinds of tips and tricks along the way. As a warlock, it's little things like silencing a death knight so they can't interrupt or death grip you, and using your demonic circle to dodge Shadow Priest fears, and just learning to get good at little things like that definitely makes a big difference. If you still need to learn the basics of your class though, like when to pop defensive cooldowns and how to land burst damage correctly, nothing really beats Battlegrounds, and a lot of them at that. Because of how this question is worded though, it sounds like you want to know how you can help a friend of yours learn his or her class, and that is kind of hard to say. First and foremost, play with them in BGs and 2v2 arenas and just give any tips that you can. If they're still learning the basics, you can show them some video guides. There are tons of them out there on YouTube for almost every class. But my biggest recommendation overall is just to get them dueling people. The amount that can be learned from losing 4 or 5 duels to the same class is massive if you know more about their class than they do. It also gives you a good chance to give them some tips on how to beat that class. However, I do think that WoW is mostly a solo learning experience, and there's only so much that you can do to help someone out. They do have to go after it themselves as well. So good questions, always love answering them. If you have a question that you would like me to answer, please do leave it down below for a chance of having it answered in a future episode. Now, before we wrap up this episode, there have been quite a few donations from some awesome people to help me keep on doing what I do here on YouTube. Michael Greber donates €20 saying, hello from Australia, Cobby, if I can call you that. Sad to hear that such an awesome streamer like yourself is struggling, but it is great to hear that you are doing what truly makes you happy, and that I am jealous of. Even though I mainly play Demonology now, still love the commitment to Destro. Hussein Azuz donates €50 saying, "Hello Cobb, as I sent you a message on YouTube, this is one of many monthly donations I'll be doing as my way of thanking you." Now this is actually crazy, and man, there's absolutely no reason that this should be a monthly thing. €50 is an insane amount of money, and I appreciate it so much, but honestly, one time is more than enough, so thank you, man. Crazy donation. Akraf Uchia donates €2 saying, "I hope this helps a little bit. I sent you 3 kilograms of support from Morocco and another 2.7 kilograms from Spain. I don't even know what you mean by that, but it does help, and I appreciate it all the same, so thank you." Christopher Dozier donates €25 saying only, "Keep it up, man. Love the vids, what a boss," and I definitely will. Sabir Ilyasov donates €2 saying, "Hey Cobb, I've been watching your videos for almost 2 years now, and they never fail to teach me and to entertain me. They are of very good quality all of the time, and it is obvious how much you care about your subscribers, so just a little gift to say thank you. I know it's not much, but I know it will help." Smiley face. I'm really glad that you like the content that much, man. It means a lot that people notice the hard work, so really appreciate it. All awesome donations, they all help me out a ton, and I feel like I say this all the time, but I will never be able to really thank any of you guys enough, at least not over the internet. It means a hell of a lot to me to have so many people on board with the channel. It is just crazy. But that is going to be all for this Sunday's episode, so thanks for stopping by and continuing to follow the series. I'm going to get back on with my work, so I hope you all have an awesome day. Stay Destro everyone, apart from Michael Greber, of course, who plays Demonology, and I will catch you all a little bit later.